Skinner and Demoulas in Richfield Springs and Turnbull Insurance Service since 1866 present Mohawk Valley Living, exploring the arts, culture, and heritage of our region. A special good morning and happy St. Patrick's Day to our Irish viewers, and to everyone else feeling a wee bit Irish today.
Good morning and welcome to Mohawk Valley Living. This is the first time that our show has fallen on St. Patrick's Day on a Sunday. So I was able to get permission from my producer and my director to take off the traditional blue shirt and to wear green, so there's no need to adjust the color on your set. I am wearing green. Because of this rare occurrence and because of my being half Irish, today's show is going to have a bit of a tint of Irish to it, so be sure to stay tuned.
We begin our St. Patrick's Day special on Columbia Street in Utica at St. Joseph and St. Patrick Church. We're here to meet Irish culture and language teacher Thomas Malley. We ask him about the origins of some of the St. Patrick's Day traditions, starting with why the Irish celebrate St. Patrick.
St. Patrick, when he was 16, he lived in what is now Britain. Irish raiders came, kidnapped him, took him to Ireland. After 6 years, he escaped, went back to Britain, went to France, became a priest, came back to convert the Irish people, who were mostly Druids, to Christianity. And the Irish people obviously consider him their patron saint.
For the pit wheels they are stopping.
St. Patrick did not want to just go in and tell these Druidic people that everything had was wrong. So he incorporated some of their beliefs or related them to Catholicism. One of the strong beliefs of Catholicism is the Trinity. And to illustrate the Trinity, he showed how the three leaves on the shamrock were still part of one leaf. And that's the way he gave a visual interpretation of the Trinity. He did other things like the sun is important to the Druidic people. So he took the sun and superimposed it on the cross. So if you've seen the Celtic cross, you have the cross with the circle indicating the sun. That's the origin of the Celtic cross. In, I believe, the 1800s, the Irish were still trying to throw off some of the penal laws that the British had imposed on Irish Catholics, and they had to be secret about everything. And one of the ways they identified each other was they wore green. In fact, there was a song written, The Wearing of the Green, about that specific thing. So that's why people associate green with Ireland, even though the traditional Irish color is blue.
Here's what's hot on the lot at Skinner and Demoulas. Hit the trails in a new 2012 Jeep Compass Latitude. Lease for just $199 a month for 36 months. $28.99 total due at signing. Just one of the many great deals at Skinner and Demoulas in Richfield Springs. No matter what your ride, Turnbull has you covered. Call Turnbull Insurance Service for your Harley or Honda, touring or sport, scooter or ATV insurance. Call 735-9201 and talk to a member of the Turnbull family ready to go the extra mile for you. Call Turnbull Insurance Service, 735-9201. Celebrate the first sign of spring during Sugaring Off Sundays. See sugaring demonstrations, have a taste of Jack Wax, enjoy children's activities and the Empire State Carousel. A full pancake breakfast is served from 8:30 to 1 every Sunday in March during Sugaring Off Sundays at the Farmers Museum in Cooperstown. Experience Symphoria when they return to Hamilton College Friday, April 5th. This dynamic group of talented musicians, formerly known as Syracuse Symphony, will perform masterworks by Ravel, Korsakoff, and Nielsen. Get your tickets for Symphoria at the Wellenhall Schaumbach Center for Music and Performing Arts at Hamilton College.
There are two kinds of people I divide population into, those that have a log home and those that want one. People come to us and with their dreams on paper, maybe it came out of a magazine, look at each customer as a unique individual and build the house that they wanted.
Spring style begins at the Village Crossing. Discover unique women's attire, jewelry, handbags, and accessories designed to delight. The Village Crossing on the Village Green in Clinton. Hey kids! You're invited to Elmo's Tea Party on Saturday, March 23rd from 1 to 3 p.m. at the Little Falls Antique Center and the shops at 25 West. You can reserve a seat for tea at 1, 1:30, 2, or 2:30, or just stroll in and visit. The event is free and includes favors, crafts, goodie bags, and dress-up fun with Elmo and a special cast of characters from Alice in Wonderland. Mom and Dad can enjoy shopping and sales during Elmo's Tea Party on March 23rd at the Little Falls Antique Center and the shops at 25 West at Canal Place in Little Falls. The Mohawk Valley Center for the Arts in Little Falls presents Local Arts. On a nice evening in the village of Clinton, you might just hear the sound of bagpipes coming from College Hill. The Mohawk Valley Fraser's Pipe Band consists of over 50 members, and we met one section of the band during their weekly rehearsal. The Mohawk Valley Frasers were named for the famed British 78th Regiment of Foot.
The actual Fraser Highlanders from the French and Indian War, having campaigned in central New York, they actually helped build Fort Stanwix. It was an English fort then, and the Frasers were garrisoned there. They were a regiment that was raised to fight the French here in America, and they came and they were stationed at Fort Stanwix. Probably helped build it because they were building it then, just before they went to Quebec. The fall of Quebec in 1759 was really the major battle that gave England all of North America, or Canada and most of North America. So we hoped that by replicating the Fraser's Highlanders, we would tie into the bicentennial spirit and the Fort Stanwix rebuilding and all that. Well, the music that we play is almost entirely Celtic music because we have a different scale than the rest of the Western world. Our scale is a scale based on the ear. It's an aural scale because we have drones, and drones have to tie into each note of the scale. So we're a little bit limited. We can't play all the tunes that people would want us to play, so most of our music is traditional or music that has been written specifically for Celtic instruments, the bagpipe itself usually. The group is very, very busy. It performs as many times as it can possibly fit in, I think, during the summer. I don't think we have a free weekend in the summer from probably the beginning of May through September. It practices once a week is a good average for the practice. And it's really a group that's very large. It's divided into 3 groups of pipers. This group today is one of the groups. There's 2 other groups. And they join together to perform and play on the street parades. But the band also fields competition sections, competition bands, and there's 3 different competition bands based on ability. It's a blast. It's really the instrument itself is kind of like the difference between playing institutional sport like baseball and football, which you only play till you're in high school or college if you're really good, and then you never play again, and playing something like golf or tennis, which you play for the rest of your life. With the bagpipes, I played other instruments, clarinets and saxophones, and I played them until I was in high school and college, unless I was very good, which I wasn't, so I didn't keep going on those. But the bagpipe you continue to play until you can't stand up anymore. So it's a lot like golf and tennis. It's a lot of fun.
We learn the art of kilt making from a geology professor. Barb Tewksbury tells us about this traditional garment of the Scottish Highlands.
About 15 years ago, our daughter decided to start Highland dancing, and she needed her outfit. And I thought if I'd been sewing all my life, I ought to be able to make a kilt. So I went to dance camp with her and went to a Highland dance camp and learned how to make kilts over that weekend and loved it, and I've been making kilts ever since. In addition to making kilts, I've written a book on kilt making, and I've taken up playing the bagpipes myself, so it now consumes a large part of my life outside of geology. Tartan is a particular kind of fabric, and it's a pattern of crossing stripes, and the proportions of colors vary depending on the tartan. So some tartans are family tartans, and some tartans are commercial tartans. States have tartans, countries have tartans. The U.S. Air Force has a tartan, the U.S. Army has a tartan, and so on, and all of the colors and proportions are different. It's a very old process, and unlike making other kinds of garments where if you're a seamstress, you typically take a pattern and you cut out pattern pieces and sew them together. But with a kilt, you simply start with a piece of fabric that's about 8 yards long and about 24 or 25 inches wide, and you don't cut anything. It's just this long rectangle, and you shape the pleats as you go and stitch the pleats, and by the time you get to the other side of the 28 or 30 pleats that you put in a kilt, the kilt fits somebody across the back, and then the rest of the process takes the edges and shapes them and makes them nice and puts a band on the top and some interfacing in. But it's a very, very ancient process of not cutting pattern pieces, but actually shaping as you stitch.
For more information on the art of kilt making, visit our website, mohawkvalleyliving.com, or for Barb's book, visit CelticDragonPress.com. No matter what your ride, Turnbull has you covered. Call Turnbull Insurance Service for your Harley or Honda, touring or sport, scooter or ATV insurance. Call 735-9201 and talk to a member of the Turnbull family ready to go the extra mile for you. Call Turnbull Insurance Service, 735-9201.
Hi, Dr. Tom. Bringing your cat to the Paris Hill Cat Hospital on Sundays is a part of Mohawk Valley Living. Come inside and see why.
Paris Hill Cat Hospital, this is Lindsay. How can I help you? Hello, Mrs. Cole. Your cat is losing weight and you need an appointment? And you're only available on weekends. Sure, I have an available appointment with Dr. Karen Sunday at 2 p.m. Does that fit into your schedule? Okay.
We're open 7 days a week because we know that your cat can become ill anytime. The Paris Hill Cat Hospital, quality care for your cats and kittens.
Oscar's Picture Framing offers hand-finished molding and restoration of antique frames, restoring history for the past 42 years. Oscar's Picture Framing, 12 Kellogg Road, New Hartford. Shop Shelter for one-of-a-kind handmade gifts unlike anything you'll find elsewhere. Jewelry of sterling silver with inlaid stones and fossils. Adirondack frames, mirrors, and rustic furniture. And custom furniture designed by Jim Kiefer. Shelter, Main Street Old Forge. Escape the cold winter days in the tropics at the Pop Butterfly Conservatory. Your winter doldrums will be swept away by free-flying tropical birds, butterflies, plants, and frogs. An unforgettable adventure for all ages. Open all winter long, Thursday through Sunday, noon to 4, on Route 7 in Oneonta. Meelan's Meat Market has your Easter specialties like store-made hams and kielbasa, leg of lamb and roasts, featuring low-salt, low-fat smoked ham and kielbasa. Try their famous crown roast of pork or prime rib. Meelan's Meat Market, your one-stop shop at the Four Corners in Clark Mills. Shop Tom's Natural Foods and feel good with over 150 herbs and spices and a full line of dietary supplements. Tom's Natural Foods in Clinton, naturally. You keep saying you're going to do something about your back and joint pain. Call Dr. Michael Tucherone, one of the area's only K-laser therapy chiropractors, the most advanced non-invasive treatment of acute and chronic pain. Call 853-6225 and embark on your wellness journey today.
I'm gonna dirty my fingers, paint my toes, stay up all night and watch the lights.
Special thanks to Turnbull Insurance Service and Mark and Jim Turnbull. Their continued support makes the show possible. Back in Cherry Valley, we visit the Plaid Palette, located in the historic Oliver Judd House on Main Street. Their primary product is tartan and Celtic-related products, even bodhrans, harps, and bagpipe supplies. But you'll also find much more, like the popular new guitar pick jewelry. And believe it or not, they're world famous for their customized wedding cake toppers.
About 20 years ago, we started doing the plaids. We started painting the plaids. And I got certified as a plaid painter, a tartan fellow. And we started Santa Clauses, and they were so popular, particularly at the Scottish Games, that we had a person ask us about a kilted wedding cake topper. Well, we thought long and hard, and about 6 months later, we developed a design for a kilted cake topper. And ever since then, we've been doing just really crazy, wacky stuff, and the funnier, the better sometimes. I'm not talking about the bride with the rolling pin and the plastic stuff. We're talking about resin and sculpted ceramics. It's their statement. It's their love. If they love dolphins, maybe they're in the business. Maybe they're skiing. We've done skiers and surfboarders and, oh my God, skydivers. And we've done just about the gamut of people. But getting off the people, now a big thing is the castles. And we have like something like 27 or 28 different types of castles. And you can put a graystone finish on it, you can put plaid roofs, you can put turquoise on it. Doesn't matter to us. We think it's great. Your color choice is what you have on the top of that cake. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. We've not had, the only one we've ever really had return was a mother-in-law who returned a cake topper because she refused to put the groom as an alien on the cake. And we had a good laugh about that one. She really read me out really that, you know, it was the only thing he wanted to do was the cake topper, and now he screwed it up, and I'm going, oh my God.
There's something in you just can't explain. Bring the sun that shines down.
We visit Border Brook Farm in the rolling hills just outside of Cooperstown. Here we meet Linda Hodgkiss and her family of Border Collies. These intelligent and friendly dogs live to work and have been man's best friend for centuries, driving and protecting flocks of goats, sheep, and cattle.
In 1873, so the story goes, the two Welsh shepherds got together and said, "My dog can gather better than your dog." And the other one said, "My dog can fetch better than your dog." So that's how the competition started. And it's basically stayed the same. We have fetching, gathering, penning, shedding. And just now we have points and judges and things like that, ribbons. In the hill country of Scotland and Ireland and Wales, there's many acres. They send their dogs just with one command. And maybe an hour later, the dog will come back with 200, 300 sheep. So they have to have sheep dogs in the high hills. So, and we still need them here in the United States, of course, with lots of things we do. And the trial itself does mimic the chores that we do on a farm. The outrun, they have to gather the sheep, bring them to you. The pen, we have to sometimes give them shots or do their feet. That's why they need to be shed one sheep from the 3 or whatever amount you're using. You have to use a dog in that situation, or it will take a long time without it.
Now, why Border Collies?
Well, they do herding the best. There are other herding dogs, but the Border Collies seem to do it the best, so they say. And I must agree.
Now, this competition coming up, tell us a little bit about the origins about this and how long it's been going and why you're part of it.
This is the 13th annual Sheepdog Trials in Cooperstown. The man that started them, Chalmers Means, he started it 13 years ago and he retired about 5 years ago, so a group of us took over or the trial would have not been able to happen. So each year, in the middle of August, on Beaver Meadow Road, this year it's August 15th, 16th, and 17th, we hold these trials over 3 days. The first day, Friday, being the novice dogs, and we use part of the field. And Saturday and Sunday, they use the whole field. The spectators get to see the dogs work the whole field. It's almost 300 yards, and it's quite spectacular to watch.
Some of the local Irish music you can pick up at Accents of Ireland is the local Ratlin Bog, comprised of Rick Kincaid, Joe Rowlands, and recent addition Steve Shute. We caught up with the trio in Joe's garage, rehearsing for this afternoon's performance at the Great American Irish Fest.
Part of it is heritage. I'm a hybrid. I'm a Scot, I'm Irish, I'm English and Welsh, basically. So, you know, I often wondered if it's just in the blood. But I love to harmonize. Joe and I sang in a barbershop quartet before that, and there's great opportunities for harmony in a lot of traditional Irish music. It's just a lot of fun to make music, and certainly nice to be appreciated as well.
Be sure to catch Ratlin Bog this afternoon at 2:40 at the regional stage at the Great American Irish Fest. If you attend the Great American Irish Fest today, be sure to visit the Dogs of Ireland. There you'll meet many Irish breeds, including Fireside Irish Setters. Although the new litter that arrived last week is too young to attend the festival this year, the proud mother, Saranac, welcomed us to her home in the hills north of Utica, where she lives with Carol and Fran Hugan.
Well, I've had Irish setters all my life, but we started showing and breeding in 1997. There's just something about an Irish dog. They're clowns. They just have a wonderful personality. You can't come home having a miserable day and still be miserable. Well, I have one who knows how to open a refrigerator, and they're just clowns. They actually have a sense of humor, but when you see them moving through the fields, they're just gorgeous. Well, actually, I'm a biology teacher, and when I breed, a lot of times I bring them into school, and I use the knowledge from biology and my breeding to help reach my students.
Oh, okay.
Saranac, named after the brewery, and that was a bad choice because she does like to take a little beer every once in a while. She's almost 3 years old, and she just had the litter of 8. And the sire, his grandfather, went best in show at Crufts in England.
If in your prior life in 1816, or if your ancestors back then had gone to Trenton Falls, you'd have to wonder why people were standing there not looking at the falls, but sort of angled away from the falls. In a second, you're going to find out from Jim Parker why. But if you buy his book, The Mist Fairies and Leprechauns of the Adirondack Mountains, not only will you find out about the legend, but you will also be able to have a book filled with all of his very colorful paintings. Pick one up.
Well, it starts with the Irish digging the Black River Canal. And these two little sisters, McGuires, live in Forestport, and their dad runs a canal boat called Annie Laurie into Forestport to Boonville. And they discover these little leprechauns who've hooked up with fairies who live under the falls, both at Trenton Falls and on the Black River. And they spend the summer teaching them how to do Irish step dancing.
Now, where did this fable come from?
Comes from Olden Barneveld in 1816. A minister named Sherman dreamed it up to get people to go to Trenton Falls. He couldn't get people to go there, so he said, go up to the falls, wait for a rainbow, turn sideways, look at the falls, and you'll see the fairies and leprechauns come out from behind, but if you stare at them, they're very shy and they turn red and vanish.
So people actually did this?
Oh, thousands.
Well, I just recently started being the head teacher of the Butler School when our teacher passed away in March. I was his assistant teacher. Up until then, I've been doing that for probably about 15 years. But our head teacher, Mr. Butler, passed away in March, so I've taken over full responsibility of that. My mom put me in when I was 4, and I've been taking it ever since. Probably when I was about 12 or 13, it became like, do I want to get into sports with school, or do I want to continue with the Irish dancing? Because it got to be where it was tough to do multiple sports or hobbies. So I picked the Irish dancing and stuck with it from then. The hardest part about Irish dancing is your balance, posture, and it's a lot of footwork, so having the ability to move your feet in time with music.
All that Irish dancing has made us hungry for Irish food. You might be surprised that we found it at Piggy Pat's in Washington Mills. But it is no secret. Many people enjoy the corned beef they serve on Irish Wednesdays. We were thrilled to meet local Irish music legend Vince Colgan. He'll be closing out the Great American Irish Festival this afternoon at 4 o'clock.
I came to America actually back in 1964, and before we came out, myself and another few fellas had a little bit of a band in Ireland. Back in the time of the Clancy Brothers and Tommy Makem, everyone was music mad. So we had a little bit of a band, and I came out in '64, and one of the fellas came with me, and we've been playing music ever since, so it's over 40 years. It would be considered Irish traditional music, and back in the 60s, the folk era, it was Irish folk music. And I think I haven't changed very much over the 40 years. I still sing the same amount. Well, Ireland, first of all, it's really a nation of music. Music and culture, reading, and they're famous for it. And they had an oppression, an oppressive childhood, I suppose, as a nation. And a lot of the songs are about that oppression. So there's many songs like that. Then they say there's a lot of drinking songs, a lot of love songs, So I think we express an awful lot of our feelings through music, because I love it. I sing for myself home. I pick up the guitar and just go out in the other room and just, I love even listening to songs that I sing myself. It's a great pastime. In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first left my eyes on sweet Molly Malone. She wheeled her wheelbarrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels alive.
Here's what's hot on the lot at Skinner and Demoulas. Hit the trails in a new 2012 Jeep Compass Latitude. Lease for just $199 a month for 36 months. $28.99 total due at signing. Just one of the many great deals at Skinner and Demoulas in Richfield Springs. Visit the Oneida Community Mansion House during their annual open house today from 2 to 4. Admission is free and you can explore exhibits, tour period rooms, and enjoy complimentary refreshments in the lounge. Tour the Oneida Community Mansion House today from 2 to 4 on Kenwood Avenue in Oneida. Call Yannick Excavating for all your residential and commercial projects, from new construction and land clearing to septic systems, driveways, basements, ponds, and topsoil. Visit yannickexcavating.com. Savor homemade soups, sandwiches, quiches, and salads at the dessert booth in Clinton. And check out their fresh new look. Serving lunch Tuesday through Saturday and dinner Friday nights. See their menu on Facebook and save room for dessert. The Artisan's Corner in Clinton features art from the heart of Central New York. Handcrafted, one-of-a-kind, affordable artwork and gifts. Think spring and check out the Easter cards, clothing, candy, and jewelry at the Artisan's Corner, open every day in Clinton. Allie Lynn's Home and Accessories for distinctive gifts. For spring color. For the bride. For the wine. Allie Lynn's Home and Accessories, West Park Row in Clinton. Expecting the guys for football? Don't fret, just call Deansboro Superette. They've got delicious Middle Eastern platters and their famous 4-foot Mega Monster sub. Call 841-4377. If you're in a collision, you need precision. Call your insurance company first and then choose Precision Unlimited, providing expert auto body collision repair since 1987 on Route 5 in Clinton. Shop the fun and frugal Newport Marketplace. Over 40 vendors of treasures, antiques, unique gifts, Amish baskets, and new and handcrafted items. New items arriving daily at the Newport Marketplace on Route 28, just 20 minutes from Utica, Little Falls, and the Valley.
I can't stand it when you're not around. I don't know quite what to do with myself. So if you have to leave me to
Blarney, that was a good show. And next week, in celebration of spring, we are going to be visiting some springs in the area, beginning with Richfield Springs. So be sure to tune in, and between now and then, enjoy Mohawk Valley living.